Hello everyone, my name is Gamezak and welcome back to another dev diary for Ara History Untold. In today's episode, we'll be exploring Ara's scout units, showing you some tips and tricks to get your nation up and running. Walking us through the game is Andy Cataldo, community manager at Oxide Games. Andy, welcome back to the show. It's been a little quiet at Oxide the last couple of months. What are you cooking up over there?
Well, thank you for having me. And we are cooking up, of course, finishing the game. We are heads down trying to make improvements and complete the game. And for those that haven't heard from us in a little while, don't worry. We will have more information coming out really soon about where the game is, what we're doing, what's going on, etc.
Fantastic. And with that covered, let's dive straight into Act 1. How will players acquire and create scouts in Ara History Untold?
Well, Zach, when you start the game, you have a scout already right there in your nation. So your first thing you're going to do is take your scout and go explore and do whatever else you're going to do with the scout. And then when you want to have more, you can go into the gathering hall and you craft explorer gear. You go ahead, craft that gear, and then go over to your unit management panel, create that unit, and then you have another scout. And then you can keep on doing that for as many scouts as you'd like to have.
All right, so scouts are essential for exploration and discovery. Can you tell us what your first scout might find surrounding your nation?
They will find all sorts of things. So they'll find resource caches, they will find resource nodes, they will find dangerous wildlife. And then once they're out there, they can go ahead and hunt the dangerous wildlife. They can survey the resource nodes to find some hidden resources in the game. And then they can also go out and find other kinds of caches as well, such as equipment caches or food caches.
Are scouts ever injured as a result of hunting the wildlife?
They absolutely are, depending on how dangerous the wildlife is, because there is levels of dangerous animals in the wild. So some only do a little bit of damage, some do a lot. Either way, when you start to notice your health getting a little bit low, you can go back to your nation and rest with your scout and they will heal up. You can also, in a pinch, you can also stay out in the wild and rest and heal up your scout to half health just to make sure that you can survive till you get back to your nation.
All right, so assuming the scout makes it past the wildlife and they discover resources, when they find something like iron or copper, does everyone see it or is it just your nation?
When you discover a hidden resource or even an exposed resource, everyone else can see it. So it's going to be very important, especially if it's an essential resource to you, for you to go ahead and get to being able to claim that land for your nation as quickly as possible, then being able to drop a quarry or a farm or a camp on that resource to harvest it for your nation.
Right. So there's these kinds of resource caches. What can you tell us about those resource caches?
As I had said, there's 3 different kinds. There is the resource cache, the equipment cache, the food caches. Resources will give you things like copper or stone or wood. Equipment caches will give you the equipment you need to create certain units in the game. And of course, food caches will give you food. And then there's also fallen nation caches. So when you get to Act 2 of our game, and some of the nations around you may not make it into Act 2 because they didn't make the cut, so to speak, there will be fallen nation caches, which will contain a myriad of different types of items in them. So when you get into Act 2, one of the first things you're going to want to do is take your scouts and go find where those nations are and collect those resources that could help give you an edge over your opponents.
So with scouts being the main source of exploration, does this mean players would use scouts to meet other settlements and other nations?
Absolutely. That is going to be the main way that you will be introduced to other nations. And of course, there are settlements that are not connected to other nations out there. They're independent settlements, and you will meet them and they will task your nation with quests or goals to complete to help you gain favor with them. And they may eventually even join your nation later on in the game.
All right. In terms of exploring the environment, does environment type play into the amount of resources you'll be able to harvest? So, for example, if your nation starts in a desert, do you want to send your scout out to look for jungles and rivers?
Absolutely, you do, because in the game, if you're in a desert, you may find more of a stone resource. But if you need more timber, you're going to want to go find a forested area that will have more trees. So the game absolutely reflects what the biome is that you're in with the amount of resources that it gives. So it's a very important once you're building your nation to try to explore and either found other cities in these different biomes that will give you better resources, or expand your own city just to make sure that you're getting maximum amount of resources that you need to win the game.
So finally, do you have any tips for players looking to make the most of these first few turns?
Absolutely. Make sure you're exploring. Use multiple scouts, but pay attention, because you can either miss a resource cache or something like that, or there's also roving bands of barbarians that will roam the game, and if you're not paying attention, you can run right into one of these bands of barbarians with your scouts, and you will end up losing your scout because the barbarians will attack them. So you have to be careful. You have to pay attention all the time at where your scouts are going and what they're doing.
Pro tip, you heard it here first. Pay attention in strategy games. Very important. All right, thank you so much for joining us, Andy. It was great to meet you. Any last words to the fans before we go?
Make sure you sign up for our Insider program. Make sure you follow us on our social channels, and just make sure you go ahead and wishlist us on Steam, because this game is going to be awesome and we can't wait for you all to play it.
All right, thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to subscribe for future Dev Diaries, and as Andy mentioned, follow on the social platforms of your choice to find out more stuff. Join the Insider program at arahistoryuntold.com, and don't forget to wishlist Ara History Untold on Steam. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.